With the study questions for Du Bois's The Souls of White Folk. Number one, find the place in the text where Du Bois quotes from Kipling's White Man's Burden. What is the context in Du Bois for using this quote? He actually does quote him, an actual quote. It is on page 931. Let's read the whole paragraph. This Europe has largely done. And what is this? At the end of the previous paragraph, it is the duty of white Europe to divide up the darker world and administer it for Europe's good. This Europe has largely done. The European world is using black and brown men for all the uses which men know, using them, right? Commodities, using their labor, and for other things. Slowly but surely, white culture is evolving the theory that, it says it, are born beasts of burden for white folk. That's an incredibly important line, right? That people of color are meant to be the servants of white people. That's what Du Bois is saying in no uncertain terms. It were silly to think otherwise, cries the cultured world with stronger and shriller accord. The supporting arguments grow and twist themselves in the mouths of merchant, scientist, soldier, traveler, writer, and missionary. Darker peoples are dark in mind as well as in body, of dark, uncertain, and imperfect descent, of frailer, cheaper stuff. They are cowards in the face of Mausers and Maxims. I guess Mausers and Maxims are guns, right? They make bad soldiers. They have no feelings, aspirations, and loves. They are fools. Illogical idiots, half devil and half child. There's the quote. So what is the context? I believe that Du Bois is reading that half devil and half child line from Kipling as a justification for exploitation. That is, that white supremacy basically is justifying its exploitation of the non-white people of the world by white supremacism. That is that that the people of color of the world are half devil and half child, and they deserve their inferior status, I think is the idea. So he goes on to say, such as they are, civilization must naturally raise them, but soberly and in limited ways. They are not simply dark white men. They are not men in the sense that Europeans are men. He's filling out what, obviously this is not what he believes. He's filling out what he takes to be the white attitude. That this half devil and half child line from Kipling is actually quite important because it justifies the exploitation, it justifies the inferior status of the non-white peoples of the world. Number two, what is the silent revolution that Du Bois mentions on page 932? The silent revolution is the revolution in the way that, the revolution in the way that race and skin color began to achieve a significance in the European mind that it had never had before in the world's history. But let's take a look at page 932 so we can get this. Yeah. Page 932 at the top. It has been left, however, to Europe and to modern days to discover the eternal worldwide mark of meanness, color, such as the silent revolution that has gripped modern European culture in the later 19th and 20th centuries. The idea that skin color was a significant marker of anything is the silent revolution. That somehow whiteness was superior to color, and that whiteness was in itself a virtue and color was in itself a vice. It's obviously a form of insanity, but it's the silent revolution is that this type of racist thinking was really created more or less in the 19th century and slowly revolutionized the way that at least white people thought somehow or another that people of color were somehow inferior to them. Silent revolution is the triumph of white racism. This is really tough material, isn't it? Number three, what does Du Bois mean by asking what is a black man but America's Belgium? Belgium was the catchword for atrocities by the Germans in World War One, what they had done, human rights violations in Belgium. And Du Bois is pointing out that black people in America have been victimized by human rights violations um, for a lot longer and more extensively than what the Germans did in Belgium. So he means that if Belgium is the shame of Germany, then black people in America are the shame of America because of how they've been treated. The treatment of black people in America is the shame of America, hypocrisy. And that leads into the fourth question. Quote, it is curious to see America, the United States, looking on herself first as a sort of natural peacemaker. You have to understand, this is right after World War One that this is written or rewritten, and President Wilson is assuming to be the leader of the peace conference. America is seen by the European powers as the honest broker, as the having the moral standing to come in and to broker a peace in the Treaty of Versailles in the wake of World War One between the different sides. It is curious to see America, the United States, looking on herself first as a sort of natural peacemaker, then as a moral protagonist in this terrible time. No nation is less fitted for this role. Why does he say this? Well, I think for the same reasons he would say that the black man is America's Belgium, because America has no moral standing that would allow it to, be the one who would dictate or to even give advice on, on up to other countries. Because to say no nation is less fitted for this role is to say that human rights violations have been built into the United States of America since the beginning. And he may be right. That is, if you look at the Constitution itself, with the compromises made to allow for slavery, um, and then the way that black people have been treated after slavery, maybe he's right. No nation is less fitted for this role. I mean, it's a complicated issue. I don't know, but that's what makes this essay such an incredible challenge. Is that it? And this is written, between 1910 and 1920. It seeks to overturn so many of the assumptions that Americans make about themselves and their country. That it's this huge challenge. You know? It's fantastic. It's one of the best things we've read all semester, no doubt.